Hey everyone, number 77 on my list of 100 greatest songs of all time is Express Yourself by N.W.A. We all know what the bass line to that sounds like. So it's. And so on and so forth. And it stays on that for the whole song. And it's an excellent choice. It's obviously a sample, a song called Express Yourself by Charles Wright and the Watts 103rd Street Rhythm Band. A song from 1970. N.W.A released it on their first album. The lyrics were written by Ice Cube, but Dr. Dre is the one that performs it. Most of the song in the extended version, there's a little piece from Ice Cube, and from MC Ren, I think, is the other person. It's I think it's their only song that was didn't have any bad language in it. I know it doesn't have bad language, but I don't know if there's any others that do. It was about freedom of speech, funnily enough, and the constraints placed on rappers by radio censorship. And also it kind of has a go at other rappers for producing radio friendly songs, when it's funny enough, like, this is probably their most radio friendly song, obviously because it doesn't have the bad language in it, and it's got that kind of pop hook that Express Yourself provides. I just want to read a few of the lyrics to you, because I do love some of the stuff he says, because it's fairly obvious what he's trying to say. It opens up with I believe this is Ice. I should have done more research into this, but I believe Ice Cube says this because he's showing or kind of introducing it as a Dr. Dre song. So it says, "Yo man, it's a lot of brothers out there flaking and perpetrating, but scared to kick reality. Man, you've been doing all this dope producing," which is obviously what Dre did with N.W.A along with DJ Killer, I think his name is. "Oh, you've been all this stuff producing, but you ain't had a chance to show them what time it is. So what you want me to do?" And I go, do. And then this Express Yourself kicks in. I'm expressing myself. There's nothing less cool than me reading out rap lyrics, but just bear with me. "I'm expressing with my full capabilities, and now I'm living in correctional facilities, because some don't agree with how I do this. I got straight and meditate like a Buddhist. I'm dropping flavor, my behavior is hereditary, but my technique is very necessary. Blame it on Ice Cube, because he says it gets funky when you got a subject and a predicate, and it on a dope beat, and it'll make you think some suckers just tickle me pink." Every time the chorus comes in, Express Yourself, do it good. There was one, now getting back to the PG, that's program and it's easy. Dre is back, new jacks are made hollow. Expressing ain't their subject, but they like to follow. The words, the style, the trend, the records I spin again and again. Yo, on the other end, watch your brother saying dope rhymes and no help. There's no fessing and guessing when I'm expressing myself. It's crazy to see people be. Or there's another line down here, "Or they ban my group from the radio, hear N.W.A and say hell no, but you know it ain't all about wealth as long as you make a note to express yourself." From the heart, because if you want to start to move up the chart, then expression is a big part of it. You ain't efficient when you flow, you ain't swift, moving like a tortoise full of rigor mortis. There's a little bit more to show. I got rhymes in my head embedded like an embryo or a lesson, all of my expression. And if you start fessing, I got a Smith and Weston for you. I must ignore your record, because there's no bottom. I get loose in the summer, winter, spring, and autumn. It's Dre on the mic, getting physical, doing the job. N.W.A is the lynch mob. Obviously, he's fairly Ice Cube, being the writer, is fairly obvious that he's having a go at certain people in the rap community. MTV started in the early 80s, and everybody wants to get an MTV because that's where the money is. And N.W.A had, Straight Outta Compton, Fuck the Police, songs like that weren't going to get on MTV or the radio for that matter, unless there were independent radios or late night radios and stuff like that. And I suppose they probably wouldn't want to admit it, because it's kind of overlapping with their idea of people just writing songs to get on the radio. But the very idea that they didn't write they wrote this without bad language in it, and it's got a much more joyful sound to it because of that bass line and because of the chorus, than something like Straight Outta Compton. It leans into the idea that maybe this could get us a little bit more radio play, even if they don't want to admit to that. And they're a fascinating group, N.W.A, and there is a really good film about them. And I talked about film biopics in the last couple of episodes, or 2 or 3 episodes ago, when I was talking about Queen. Straight Outta Compton is a brilliant depiction of N.W.A and their backstory. And Ice Cube's son even plays Ice Cube, and obviously he's the head of him. But it's a song about what I already said, but it does have that bouncy kind of vibe that lifts you a little bit. And not all the rap songs or hip hop songs from the time, or songs in general, not all songs, but songs from artists like N.W.A weren't going to be like that. They were always going to be talking about like the reality and real issues, like what Straight Outta Compton talks about, life and times in Compton, and Fuck the Police talking about police brutality and how they are treated, or black people are treated in certain parts of, in their case, Los Angeles, but it's a broader reach to from what they're talking about, or their area. So it sits as a song that, like, it's kind of nerdy to me, for me to pick it, rather than Straight Outta Compton, which I think is a masterpiece. But when I'm talking about like a list of my 100 favorite songs, other stuff comes into it rather than just the how the song was written, the chord structure stuff. It's a bit of everything. And like when Express Yourself comes on, and I would have it on my playlist and stuff like that, it does get me like, it's just one of those songs that kind of go a bit of a banger, like, and I love it, and I love the choice of Express Yourself as the verse and as the lyric, or the title of the song, because it does go with what they're trying to say. And like, you should be talking about your home truths and what's going on around you, and freedom of speech to express yourself how you want to express yourself. So yeah, N.W.A, Express Yourself. Cheers.